Look me up on Google, search the classics, you crazy bastard. Hold me up and pull me down. It's a battle royale in the eye of the storm. Drowning in the shallows when the path is getting narrow. I'ma ride it out on this broken arrow. Fuck it. Hold me up.
Welcome to Unfiltered Idiots, where we chat shit about real shit,
talk shit about those not giving a shit,
wondering and complaining why they ain't got shit. All right, here we are, ladies and gents, episode lucky number 7. 7 in the house, 7. First and foremost, what we do every week, we want to tell you guys about us, about where to find us, all that. So I'll let Kenny take his shots here, and let's go.
What's up, everyone? My name is Kenny, and I am was born and raised in Aurora, Colorado. I have 2 wonderful children at home, and I currently work in the property management field, and I'm having a great time. Like I say every week, I'm having such a great time doing this with you guys and getting all your feedback, and we just keep getting more and more energized as this goes along.
Let's go.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Wes, a.k.a. Metro, also 2 kids, was born and raised in Aurora, Colorado, in Centennial now, not too far from my boy Kenny. Again, this is what we want to do for you guys, get the feedback, all that kind of stuff. We want to make sure that we're, again, trying to bring you the right sources, all that. So, if you find something that we said wrong, man, I'd rather be, proven wrong than, sit here and have the same things that we're saying and be like, oh, and, prove me wrong so that way I can change, I can evolve. It's called being progressive.
Yeah, we are
progress.
We are learning. We are growing.
Yes.
The liberal way. We're growing every single day.
We're growing like a tree, like a butterfly.
Like a beautiful tree. And we want your feedback. So.
All right, so Kenny, tell them where they can find us, man.
You can find us on Twitter at UFIdiots, okay? And on Instagram at Unfiltered_idiots. IG.
Boom.
God, good.
Got it.
You guys don't even understand. It's only taken 7 or 8 weeks to get that correct.
Also, obviously, wherever podcasts can be found, so Spotify, Anchor, Apple, and then, of course, YouTube. Everything's going to be posted to YouTube. So, man, go out there. As Kenny's kiddos will tell you, too, make sure you subscribe, you like, all that, because we want to bring more and more content, and the more we can bring to you guys.
And we're not going to stop.
Right? Yeah.
We're on a mission.
Like I said in the post today, we don't stop, won't stop. We don't sleep. We don't even close our eyes even when we sneeze. Nope. Love that little line from Eminem.
We might have to do this a
Not
couple
trying to say
times
that's
a
my
week.
line. I know that's Slim Shady.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that dude is. Sorry, everyone. I listen to what all the top rappers say. Who's the GOAT? It's Eminem. You talk about. You go look at anybody. Dude, the Game said he flat out said on an interview, I'll go at anybody just lyrically to have kind of like a fake beef, but having fun. And he said, but I don't with the white boy. That's and everybody knows who the hell he's talking about. He ain't talking about MGK. He ain't talking about,
they're definitely not talking about
he's
MGK.
not talking about Bubba, and he does too, but Paul Wall, people like that, some good artists, but everybody knows who he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Eminem.
He's talking about Slim. And sometimes the GOATs are the GOATs, and people don't like it. LeBron people don't like that Michael's the GOAT. Kobe people didn't like that Michael's the GOAT. But
you ain't gotta like it.
Facts over feelings.
In my head, I'm a GOAT.
Yeah,
you don't gotta like it.
I'm a GOAT. I am kind of like Capricorn, but I don't really get into much of that. But anyway, so here's what we're gonna talk about today,
see
guys.
What you did there.
Yeah, you see how I moved that like a ninja in the night, So we're gonna talk about. We got into this a little bit about people, public offices needing term limits. But I really want to take a dive and really kind of talk about, what we think time, how we, how much, what their limits are. We want to talk about, do we think there should be an age limit, for example, because we have a minimum age that you can be in public office, also as well as...
It's a minimum age, what is it, 35?
I think that's for president. I think it's 25. I think for for the House,
okay.
Something like that. I think that's it. But again, I don't care about those. If somebody goes, it's not that, I don't really care. The point is, should we have an age maximum?
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about, so like I said, the age maximum. We're going to talk about the whole Potato Head and Dr. Seuss thing going on.
God,
instead of covering the actual hearing, that was about the attempted coup of the murder, whatever. talk about that. We're going to try to get into also why it's taken so long to get a woman VP, and just kind of how that's looked and why that is. And then if we have the time, man, I want to again talk about progressive taxes and how that scale might look like a system, and really start drilling into these things. But every damn week we see that like every day it feels like there's some new thing that I go, my God, I'm adding things and I keep wanting to get the things that we've missed, but there just continues to be something
There's
crazy.
things on our show
it's right
notes right here that we've been trying to get to for 4 or 5 weeks now.
The woman VP thing we're gonna definitely get to.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on that.
Because I do really want to talk about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Y'all ladies, man, like we'll talk about that in a second, but y'all just want to hate on each other. Like I saw people, again, we'll talk about it, but like so many videos of people at Trump rallies where women were like, when 2016 obviously, like, saying they wouldn't want a woman president because they're hormonal. Again, we'll talk about this. It's like, Jesus, you're like against your own like sex.
I'm trying not to crack up right now, like, because I'm just like,
my boy comes in and I'm like, oh dude, that's a dope hat.
Yeah.
A girl comes in and she's like, got those brand new shoes and like da-da-da, and you're like, yo, like,
relax.
Why are you like that? Y'all should be like,
you should be propping her up, man.
Like put that on a pedestal, as they say.
Maybe we shouldn't have a woman president though.
I would be totally for it because and we'll talk about it because there's a couple funny videos that I want to bring up about anyway. Yeah. Jordan Klepper, man, funny dude off of the Daily Show. Obviously Trevor Noah I think is just brilliant. The Daily Show is always, Stephen Colbert, obviously, prior to Trevor Noah, but then obviously one of my favorite people, not just host of the show, but Jon Stewart. Mm-hmm. Dude, that dude is just an amazing, amazing human being. A lot of people don't realize all the stuff he does behind the scenes, and he's just not the type that's like trying to, get the limelight. Mm-hmm. And I've always thought that show was great. I think I brought it up at one point about how in my son's government class for Cherry Creek, how they were asking the kids, and it was all during COVID, it was during like a Zoom thing. So I have the video of it, my son's laptop, and they were asking what news they watch. And it was, it's Cherry Creek High School. It's about 50-50 split of like kind of left-leaning versus right-leaning. Yeah. And my son, love you, son, so much, he told his teacher that he'll get a lot of his news from the Daily Show, and the teacher tried to tell him, that that's fake news, and it was like, it's not. He's doing the same thing. Instead of him spinning it from left or right, he's getting the information. It's the same. He'll take the Potato Head stuff, and instead of trying to spin it for the right leaning or the left leaning, he just makes fun of it. And it's like, it's still the same news.
That just goes to show you how.
Yeah, even a teacher in a government class telling you.
Because if anyone that has ever watched any clips of the Daily Show, it's just like all true.
News.
It's all facts. And it's in a joking way too, so I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not saying again, it's very easy to tell when he's like being silly, and you know what I mean. He's not trying to like some of these other organizations, Fox, CNN, whatever. They are trying to act like what they're telling you is just like straight up 2 + 2 is 4. And right. Trevor Noah at least is making fun of it, and you can tell that he's like, here's what happened, and here's the funny side spin to it.
And Braden's 17, right? And I don't think that there's anything. I would rather Braden go to Trevor than go to any other news sources
100%.
At his age, right? So. I don't know why the teacher would say something like that.
It was interesting. Yeah. And then the bottom kid wrote, I would never watch Commie News Network, talking about CNN, because it's all based upon opinions. And it was just like, and so you think Fox isn't? Or like OAN or Newsmax isn't? Like, it just shows you, like, even at this age.
Opinions? That was his rebuttal to you?
And this is a kid in the class. This is the class's whole. Okay. Everyone in the class is seeing each kid's response, and they're writing Fox, BBC, CNN, MSNBC, and this kid goes and writes Commie News Network, talking about CNN, and like.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is like, what does he watch though? Because he's not watching Fox or the
obviously he
OAN,
is.
right?
If he's
Like that's
calling-
what I'm saying. It's like
If he's
come
calling
on.
it Commie News Network, then that's
Yeah,
coming
he's
from
I'm
a
just saying.
17-year-old kid, and you're just like, yeah.
So
I'm glad that young people are more engaged because we weren't, because we didn't have the internet.
No,
we
I
didn't
was
know
not.
about what's going on, dude. We would have had to like sit down and watch, like, or read like the daily, like get in the New York Times or like some sort of LA, some sort of national publication that the Nation or
And
something like that.
I'll be completely honest with you. I just wasn't interested in it when I
Yeah,
was younger.
at like 17, yeah.
The last 4 years, obviously, caught my attention just because of everything that's been going on and or continue to go on. So I wasn't interested in it, and I think that like Braden is such a cool dude, right? Because he's into that stuff, and my kids are into my son Owen. He's into what's going on in political things. So
Yeah.
I think the earlier that they can understand it, and
And just see it for the ruse that it really is, because
Yeah.
there's parts of it that we want to, that's what we're trying to do, is bring light. Like I tell everybody, turning on the light so that we can see the murderer or the pot of gold in the corner, so we
Yeah.
know. But if you have the lights off and you go, well, I just don't want to pay attention, you don't know if that's, again, somebody that's about to go shoot up your kid's school, somebody who's about to go and do something great at your kid's school. By turning on the light, it brings truth.
Yeah.
And sometimes, as we see in history, you bring light to something, it's not all unicorns and rainbows, dude.
No, it's not. No,
So,
definitely.
so the first thing we want to really, I know we already talked about a couple things, but public offices. So, what is, what would be your take? Because I've had people on, across, far right to far left and everything in between. This is probably their number one thing that they think is a problem. And I don't disagree. As far as politically, I don't disagree with them. I don't think we're going to ever get money out of politics. I think we could. It's in the Constitution. You're not allowed to get monetary gains by holding public office. It's black and white. But they have
There's loopholes
probably,
for everything.
yeah, lobbying was defined as influencing your public official through speech. That's what it says in the dictionary. Of course, there's now 3 or 4 definitions of like, well, speech is handing somebody a briefcase. No, that's a bribe full of money. We've never looked at that as lobbying, but so I just don't think we're going to get, that out of politics. So term limits almost seems to be the one thing that everyone seems to really like. That's, like I said, I've done a lot of conversating with people, and that seems to be it. So what would be, are you for term limits? What would they look like? Kind of what do you
Yeah, I
think?
don't think that's not been any secret that I've definitely wanted to have term limits. I think 8 years is a good number, give or take. But yeah, obviously you have. Well, let's take Joe Biden, right? He's been in politics for 40 years, and he has been told, or the narrative has been spun that he hasn't done anything in 40 years, right? And then you have on the other side of the coin, there's other obviously conservatives that have been in politics for a long time. I just think that 8 years, fresh blood, new blood, and keep it moving. Like that's my thing. These people have camped out in Washington for decades and decades, longer than I've been alive, right? And I think that's why we're where we're at right now. It's just like there's nothing. They're stable. They understand that that nothing's going to happen. Especially if you are in those cities where you're voted in constantly, because there's not really anyone else challenging you,
Yeah.
right? So what do you think?
What about judges?
Oh, well, okay. So that's another thing, and I can't say that I'm well versed on judges, but
Yeah.
I think that to have fundamental changes in our justice system, I think the turnover needs to be more consistent.
Okay, and I agree, man. I think you're being kind in doing 8 years.
Mhm.
I've waffled on it. I have no, again, a limit is a limit, but I've kind of gone back and forth from just doing 4 or 6. So in other words, and that's for my view, is it every public office. I'm talking like the Treasury. I don't care, like from local to national. Just like maybe you say, hey, listen, instead of 4, you're gonna get 6, and that's it. And could you still be a career politician? Sure, in a sense, but you're gonna have to go through like, and that's why I kind of go to 4, because it's like, could you go from like the mayor to the governor to the Congress to Senate to president? Sure, I'm okay with that, because I want somebody who is into politics, and if they go to school for it or something like that, I want them to, have that capability. But I want to see them and have to go from different. Because here's my theory on it. I think that they're gonna. I think what'll happen is if they do, if they're not the best mayor, they're probably not likely to become governor.
Yeah.
If they're not the best governor, they're probably not likely to, or maybe they go from mayor to Congress, or even Congress to mayor. But I think if they're like a lot of them, taking money from big donors, especially with the internet is exposing everything. If they're taking money from big donors, open source shows this money coming in, and we can see and say, look, I think that they won't be able to make that jump, because, like you said, there's not being able to just run for the same, especially like Senate or Congress. It's just like people are so they see the same name and
they're just like
complacent,
yeah.
and they just go, oh, Republican,
and they
sure,
and,
Democrat,
well,
sure.
that's the thing. So my only concern with the 4 years is, are you really able to accomplish your agenda in that 4 years?
And that's why I waffle on it a little bit.
Are you really able to make a difference in that short amount of time? Because we all know how fast a 4-year term can go,
yeah.
right? Even though it can go fast, but can go really slow, like our last presidency,
yeah.
right? But that's really my only concern with that.
And that's why I say what and again, because I've had people, and that's why I waffle a little bit on it. But that's why I think about allowing them. So if I did like 6 or 8, I would probably almost go, which I think that's what you're alluding to, is like, that's all you get. You can no longer hold any more public office.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And I mean, that would maybe be the way to do it. But then again, I think they're going to go, it's so hard. You'd have to simultaneously, if we do that,
you did your public what you needed.
Service,
you did your public service. You did what you thought you could do in those 8 years, and it's you're done. Like,
and I would be okay with that in a sense.
Dan, that's really, really liberal of me.
Well, no,
I know. I just realized that as I was.
I think you. I mean, again, I don't not like the idea, because, but I would almost simultaneously want legislation passed that was about not becoming a lobbyist either.
Right.
So like, once you choose
after the term.
Period.
Okay.
So like, once you've held public office, you can never become a lobbyist, and so it's like you got to kind of choose your path. And sure, a lot of them are going to go more down the lobby lane because they want to play that game for as long as possible. Hey, have at it, Haas. At the end of the day, we can start attacking I've been a lobbyist for 30, right? Like, we can start going after them. But when you just continue to be on the same ticket year after, or, every 2 years, depending on, or every 4. But that's kind of why I said the 4, because I thought if they're doing good things, but forcing them to have to go to another position, like for, like, say, Congress to Senate to the, right? I just think that that's going to kind of put them more in the limelight, because now people, I don't know.
So the more that I just sat here and thought about that, I don't, and I take that back. I definitely don't think that once their term is over.
Because if they're doing good things, I want them to continue. If they're doing great
things, then they should be able to go on to. So strike that from the record.
No, I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea, because we got to have something, dude. Some sort of term limit.
Like I said, something's got to change.
Yeah, because it's right now, this shit is, this is why I tell everybody when they go, oh, there's nothing listen, everyone said that all the time. Do you think that, like, everyone came to MLK and, to Dr. Martin Luther King and said, hey, listen, man, you're doing a good job, buddy, and I think you got headway. Hell no, dude. You had black people telling him, like, oh, you're crazy, it's never going to work.
Yeah, it's
and who knows what the hell white people are saying. We all know the kind of shit he's probably getting from them.
Yeah.
So, like, everybody, this is what everyone's going to do. They always say you can't make a change. You can't change the system. And I'm not saying that we're going to change the system, just you and I. But, again, this stuff spreads like wildfire, good or bad.
I think that more, our politics needs to come down more to actual governing than the big corporation that it's become for those politicians.
Yeah,
and without that,
I would call it corporate Congress, corporate media.
Yeah.
It's all corporate.
When you take all that stuff out of it, I think that the governing will start to happen and it'll work. But when you have all this money behind it, it muddies the water, and it's pretty damn muddy right now.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that I see that it's fixed. That all of that
limits and stuff like that. And I think so. I asked you about judges, but I also would do the same thing to a judge, locally and nationally, like Supreme Court, all that. Same thing. You could go from being one of Colorado's district judges to this, and to the Supreme Court.
So another thing about the judges too is when I was voting in the 2020 election for the judges, they need to have more information about the judges, because I spent a lot of time researching who these people were. Right?
Gina was laughing for like hours.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did, and there's really not a lot out there. Like, they have their conviction rates and all this other stuff, but I want to know like what they.
So
what are their
538? 538 is a really good source. So they're 538 because of obviously the electoral. That's how many electoral votes there are. 538. They're a great source, and that's what I went to, because they have like their top 7 or 10, something like that, cases that each judge did. And there was one down in Cash Rock who was technically she was a conservative judge, Republican, but one of her things that she did, I was researching her, and within the first like 2 cases I saw was there was somebody that was trying to get abortion outlawed, and she said, is a conservative and a Christian, like her own statement. As a judge, she threw it out because she said, as a conservative, even though I am pro-life, she said that she doesn't think it's right to infringe on anybody else's, which is what our Constitution says.
Right.
The very first thing it said, I read it last week, about you should not make any laws thereof of the first thing that they read as on religion. The very first thing, they didn't say freedom of speech. They didn't say your right to protest. The first one they mentioned was religion, because our forefathers were trying to escape that, because they used to hang people for heresy. So like if you just said the wrong thing against the Christian church, the Catholic church, you're getting hanged, right? And so that was clearly, my goodness, the first damn thing that they wrote was about not putting your religion on somebody else. So I love that. The second I saw that dude bubbled her name in, I don't care what it says next to her name, RD, all that. Like, sure, do I lean more on the Democratic side? Yeah, because I think they're the side that's like they're closer to what I think is going the right path.
Right.
But are there the people like the Nancy Pelosi's, including Joe Biden too, who I did not vote for? My wife did, not to divulge who she voted for, but that was her choice. She kind of gave me a little grief about it, and she was kind of like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But I wrote in my choice, and this is the 3rd time in a row I did.
You didn't vote for Kanye?
No. Kim didn't even vote for Kanye. That's probably why y'all got divorced. That is actually true. I did not know that. One of my clients told me that the other day, Max and Eric. And I was like, what? I was like, no way. How do you not vote for that? Was pretty effed up. Like, if I was on the ticket... So Kim did not vote for Kanye, and he was on the ticket, as we all saw. She voted for, I believe she voted for Biden, is what she said that like publicly. But like, I was like, oh my God. Obviously, I don't think that's why they're getting divorced, but you never know. Come on, man. We could throw that conspiracy around because I don't really give a but so yeah. Anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I do want to. So let's talk a little bit about this whole Potato Head, Mr. Potato Head, becoming Potato Head, and Dr. Seuss thing. Because for me, it was very, like, I don't really care. Like, in other words, I'm not going to spend my time worrying about why the people that are in charge of Dr. Seuss's books, right, why they chose to pull, and it was like a few books I'd never even seen before. And when I start seeing some of the pages, or some of these books were being published, like, people are publishing some of the pages of it, it was... and even the Dr. Seuss people, a guy tweeted it out. What's his name? He's one of their representatives.
Right.
Their statement, Dr. Seuss people's statement, flat out said that that they understood that these were racially incorrect because they were old. I think some of these books were like 60. I mean, they're old books, but dude, they were drawing, and I mean, it's not like upper determination. It was showing about going to Africa, and it was showing monkeys trying to do the racial slur, right? And I mean, it was, dude, even my buddy Juan, love you Juan, shout out to Juan. At first he was like, oh, the left can, and he's on our side, so to speak, but like, independent, but like understanding the world. But anyway, he, at first he was like, oh man, he thought it was just kind of all stupid, why doctors, and then he started researching more, and then he was then going on posting these pages, and he's an Asian, he's Korean, Juan, and he was like, because some of it was also against like Asians and showing it, and he was like, this is offensive, and so it wasn't crazy that they were pulling them down.
Here's my kind of take on it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. 100%.
I definitely just don't have the brain power for it.
Yeah, that's what my point was.
You know what I mean?
Why are we focused on that?
I just, there's so much going on right now. There's so many other things that I'm focusing on, and I think that should be focused on. I just don't have the brain power for it, and I haven't gone down the rabbit hole of it. I've seen it. I know it pops up in my feeds all the time.
Yeah.
But just to hear that what you've said briefly about it, that's more knowledge than I knew about it before I walked in your door.
Yeah, and that's how I viewed the same with the Potato Head thing. Like, my view of it was like, why we have so many other problems in this country? Why is Fox, OAN, and Newsmax like this? They spend out. You guys got to understand this, and I'm sure most of the people that are listening or will listen to, I respect that you are not a dipshit. I respect that you are not some moron who can't logically just sit down. But you've got to stop and you got to sit down and logically go through this. Do you think that like we spend, in a sense, hours of our time kind of like I'll write stuff in there. You might write stuff in. It's a Google Docs that we share, and then while we're setting up, we kind of just we have fun and we just chit chat about what we might bring up, and I mean we have stuff written down, but like how we want to talk about it, how we want to segue. This is, Kenny and Metro podcast. This is the Unfiltered Idiots podcast. Do you not? I mean, Fox News, CNN, these places, they spend hours, dude. Sean Hannity spends hours every day setting up his hour show.
It's all a deflection, dude. It's all about let's take the attention off of what really the attention should be on, and let's deflect it, and then let's lean into it. Like I've said this a million times on this show. Like they'll pick something and then lean into it, whether it be good or bad. So this is just another thing, like Mr. Potato Head. Oh my God. Okay, so the liberals are going crazy with whatever, but literally this could be like a 5-minute segment on Fox, right? It could be and done with.
It shouldn't even be in a segment in a sense at all.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing is like
there's so much more to
I
focus on.
opened up Twitter again today, right? And it's all, and I follow conservatives. I follow everyone. Kenny loves everyone, right? So it's just
troll everybody equally.
It's just the same thing over and over.
Under a bridge, just like I'm gonna troll the shit out your ass.
Well, I do.
But no, go ahead, man.
No. But it's just like come on, guys. Let's.
Yeah.
Are conservatives doing anything? Are they doing any of the people's work in Washington right now? Because I don't see it.
This is what, and again, they're spending, and like you said, it goes, which I mentioned a minute ago, good things can spread like wildfire, so can negative things. We talked about like conspiracy theories and how
they're just so angry about everything. It's like everything. It's just like a problem.
Yeah,
everything's
like my friend,
a problem.
And I love you, Ange, and you know that. I just think that, again, you're falling into this trap. And as much as like...
I like you, Ange. I want you to come on the show
dude,
one day.
She's an amazing woman, amazing like wife to my buddy DJ, who I love to death, amazing mom, to their son Alex. Like, I absolutely adore her, and I know she has a very like functioning, good, logical brain. But like a lot of people, they get trapped. Like it's because again, it's messaging. It's dude. I mean, we talked about the cult mentality, and it's not. I'm not saying it's not happening on the left. I'm just explaining like it's
say that. No, say that because it's not happening. It's not
like
happening
that.
like that.
Not like that.
It's not on that level.
Their stuff is stupid. They'll like. So here's the kind of the comparison I give to somebody. They will go. The left is like this, right? Like we think Mr. Potato Head is offensive, and it's like, okay, it's silly. Who cares? The right goes and acts like they're putting I'm sorry, we'll say penis because that is a proper term. The right acts like they're forcing a penis in like their straight son's mouth or forcing a vagina on their straight daughter's mouth over a potato head. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't remember potato heads being born with like a huge hog on them or like having like potatoes are not gender. So again, I looked at it like, hey, Hasbro is saving you guys money by putting all of the parts. Maybe they're going to charge you $5 more for a potato head, but if you bought Mr. and Mrs., maybe it was like $15 more. Listen, so they're saving you money.
This is the thing that I sent you a text about. This is a toy that no one has talked about in 20 years. Yes. And they're making this big issue, right?
Same with Dr. Seuss
that
books.
They don't care about.
Yeah.
They don't really care about this.
They don't.
This is just a deflection. It's so easy for me to see, and I'm like, dude, like, come on. Yeah. Like, literally, like, they're spending more time on Mr. Potato Head than Andrew Cuomo right now.
Yeah, and I mean,
and that's who they should be spending their time on.
And not his pot. And again, I'm not one of those like trying to defend a guy. The girls who are accused, like one of the girls said she felt uncomfortable because he asked for a photo of her. Mm-hmm. The one that has some more legitimate claim where he was like asking if he's ever been with like older, dude, like that's not okay. He should be like ranted in blood for that.
About whatever.
But like you guys defended a guy who has 22, also 22 sexual sexual assault allegations against him. Not somebody who said like we're not talking about somebody who said he tried to lean in on a picture with me. Listen, like I said, the girl who said that he was asking if she's ever been with an older guy, and he said it was in their office. There was other people there. Maybe he said it was obviously probably inappropriate. You guys defended somebody who literally said, I walk up to women, grab them by the pussy, and I can do that because I'm powerful and wealthy, and they don't say anything. You've defended a guy who's...
Well, they elected him to the presidency after he said that.
You defended a guy who's been to Jeffrey Epstein Islands multiple times. We have proof of that. He's been, Jazine Maxwell says she has videos of him and Clinton, somebody I've also trashed, because I'm not trying to defend Clinton either. He's just as much of a garbage person as Trump. And you guys defended that, and then here you are worried about Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss, when you should be saying something about Cuomo, you should be saying something about Ted Cruz, you should be saying something about, like, focus on 60,000 vets that are homeless right now. 60,000. I thought y'all cared about the military. Sure don't seem to give two fucks about them sleeping on the street, okay? So stop saying you're the party of freedom. Stop saying you're about the military.
Oh, please. That is not the party of freedom. I'm so sick of that. I don't ever want to hear that ever again, dude, because it doesn't matter. They don't care. It's only about what they want their agenda to be, and it's like they
just own it.
Just own that. Just own it. That's all I ask is just to own it.
The FBI director was testifying, and I watched. There's a channel. It's channel 200 on DirecTV. That's like a 4-box news channel, just like they have the H. I watch that one and then like sports one all the time, like the 6 one, so I can just skip through everything. But yeah, man, like at the same time, and I was watching it for 20 minutes. You've got BBC, CNN, and MSNBC all showing the FBI director testifying about the, murderous, predominantly white supremacist, militia terrorist group that tried to overtake the United States government because they were pissed off because their guy did not win the election through a democratic process. There's 3 states all that have Republican secretaries of state that all certified the election and said, no, there was no fraud. And if there is, it's like 1 or 2 people here, and they were on both sides. It was like there was not widespread fraud. And he's talking about this while he's saying 86% of increase in domestic terrorism over the last 5 years have been from right-wing terrorists in this country. They're talking about Dr. Seuss. At the exact same time, Fox News has got Dr. Seuss and like, oh, and the messaging. It's like, dude, you guys are literally being used as pawns, and you're just not catching it. And so are people on the left, and that's why I bring those things up. But again, you guys are you on the right are upset about, God forbid, the canceling of some Dr. Seuss books. 330 deaths in the last decade.
Well, the Dr. Seuss books that have been deemed to have racial undertones.
They pulled them out
right?
themselves. Dr. Seuss's people did it.
Like,
it wasn't like the government made them.
Yeah,
it wasn't like.
I mean,
I didn't even know anything about it until that day. I was like, what the hell's going on?
But the thing is, though, is again, I'll say this: they don't really care about Dr. Seuss. They don't really care about, Mr. Potato Head.
No,
It's just all about something to.
Yeah.
Deflect from the narrative.
They don't want people on their networks to watch what was really going on. There's a hearing, like I said, about an attempted coup that happened on January 6th. We all got video evidence of it. You have which I posted this link. You guys can look this up. The Independent out of UK did a study that 330 deaths over the last decade by right-wing extremists in this country. So local terrorists since 2002 on the FBI's statistics page, 83% of deaths from mass shootings. So understand that's from mass shootings, right? Have been from right-wing terrorists. 11% were from left-wing or from Islamic. 4% from left-wing, and then like the remainder.
But I'll just go ahead and put it. But right? It's always like, well, okay, well, this one guy that
what
was
about ism? What about
this
ism?
one guy that was a Democrat. No, okay, so that was like 3 people that died, right?
And I'm not saying it's not wrong. It's just like
it's not
140 to 3. You're not gonna like. We have to go after the bulk. And I said this on one of our podcasts. Like,
no, go after the problem.
That's what I'm saying. The top priority, right?
Yeah.
Like, they bitch about Islamic terrorism. That was 11% of the deaths since 2002 from mass shootings was Islamic terrorism. Okay, so I said that on one of our podcasts. I gave a simple analogy of like, if I took $1 million and I told you it was buried all over your backyard, and there was one that had a box that had $830,000 in it, one that had $11,000 in it, one that had $4,000 in it, and one that had like a couple that had 2, 3, like 1 or 2 grand, whatever. Would you go start trying to? And I said, I'll tell you where one of those boxes are at. Would you ask for the $1,000 box that's $4,000? You'd be like, I want to know where that 830 grand is at. Right. And I go, cool, it's right there. So stop acting like y'all wouldn't be going after that. If it was 83% Islamic or 83% left wing, my God, you guys are blaming Antifa for the insurrection. And dude, FBI director said everybody that they've flat out under oath said everybody that they've been investigating were Proud Boys. They were the Boogaloo Boys.
Yeah,
they were all huge Trump and white supremacists.
So I think that what I had a misconception of what was in my mind. So I thought after the whole insurrection thing happened, I thought that people would actually wake up. People would actually understand that this is an issue. This has become an issue, and instead, a day later, it's Antifa's fault.
Yeah.
And then you just go
Even
down
during the time they were saying it was Antifa.
Yeah, and then people were like, oh, because Fox News was quick to hit it, right? They were quick to deflect it. So they went down the Antifa road, and then that's where we lost these other people that we could have gotten. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just off of
Antifa
fake news. It was fake news.
Anti-fascist. So I'm not condoning when they get violent, but I could have sworn the fascists that tried to take over all of Europe by the name of Adolf Hitler, we got pretty violent with that dude to try to like bust his ass up because he wanted to eradicate Jews. And guess what? We got violent with him because, I'm sorry, sometimes that's the only thing you can do. And like I said last week, a black man, right, like Kaepernick kneeled, right? Like women like Rosa Parks got to the front of the, like, right? They tried to do these things peacefully. They get chastised for it. Yeah. Martin Luther King was peaceful, assassinated. Along comes Malcolm X. Same situation, got assassinated. We know by who. We know who both of them by the same people. Yep. And guess what? So I for one, yes, I want as much as we can to be peaceful. But when you have people that are trying to fight for equality versus people who don't want them to have equal rights, that's not the same people. One of them are fascist, and then the other one is called Antifa, anti-fascist, a coalition of people who, again, I don't condone the violence, but I'm sorry, if you have white supremacists and people who are homophobic, they're against anybody who looks like my buddy Kenny, when they don't know the breakdown of their genomes, don't, like we talked about, there's nothing that shows your race in your genome. So it's all horse. There's one race, it's human race, that's it. You can not like that, but facts don't care about your feelings. The bottom line is, when you have one group coming somewhere who want to literally, like Hitler, eradicate only the certain color, skin color people, only people who aren't straight, those types of things, and then you have another group coming there that are people with light skin, white skin, brown skin, black skin, gay, straight, trans, all in a unified stance, going, we're gonna defeat you.
Yeah, this is not okay.
That's the same thing that the U.S. did. That's Captain America, bro.
Yeah,
that's what the U.S. did against Hitler, and you guys don't like that.
The
apparently.
sad thing about this is
you want fascist.
It's 2021.
Yeah.
And we're having this conversation, and it's sad. It's sad the state of affairs of the United States is it, and I've said it in the past. It's just like it took 4 years, because we were all in this little la-la land during the Obama years. Everything was great, economy was great, everyone was making money. And then one person over 4 years
has
just brought us back.
Fire.
Yeah, lit it on fire.
And he said, "Make America great again." We talked about that on one of the podcasts.
Make America great again.
Every time they're asked,
make America white again.
Yeah, I mean, that was Reagan's thing, but like, you know, what shows you, like, he's just such, like, he'll say anything. Just like Alex Jones, that video I posted today about how he hates Trump now. This is actually from 2 years ago, where he's talking about Trump, and he didn't think that would ever come out on this video. But anyway, but it just shows you the grift that they will do, because they, again, when it comes to getting money, we've seen that they will change up. Alex Jones turned on Q now, then he turns on Trump. Like, this is what they do, and then you try to expose that, and they think that, like, you're some libtard who, it's like, dude, I'm just trying to show you, you know, simple facts about how you're being manipulated. In fact, that's something we're going to show you real quick, and then we're going to get into the women VP. But why I'm talking about, just we'll kind of go away from the whole shit about Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss. We think you've already heard our point on it for 15 minutes, but like, I want to show real quick, and Kenny's going to film in real time, really quick, just a quick example of exactly what we're talking about COVID. You have, you know, predominantly red states for the most part. A lot of them are really deep red, saying that they're not having problems. Fox News, they're not having problems. Oh, let's just reopen. Let's just, Well, I'm going to show you real quick just how full of they are, so you can see for your own eyes. A simple Google search will show you that's just not true. So let me show that to you guys real quick. And Kenny's going to film, and you guys can see me, what I search. And you just click right here, and that way you can see it. Alright, you should be able to see it. If there's like a glare or anything. So I just searched COVID death rate by state. Pretty simple, nothing crazy. I'm going to choose the Heritage organization, who is Koch brother funded. This is a right-leaning org, 100%. And I'm going to go to their About page, so you can just see, before we look at the numbers, I want you just to see their About page very quickly. Here's their About page. It says right here, an organization whose mission is to formulate and promote conservative, right there, public policies. So this is a conservative org. So I'm going to go away from that. We're back on Heritage, as you can see at the very top, heritage.org. Here's the numbers. Some of the most densely populated states in the country. New Jersey, New York, obviously biggest city we have, New York City, but New York as well. Massachusetts is extremely densely populated. Mississippi, not densely populated. South Dakota has about 870,000 people in it, and, you know, not densely populated at all. Connecticut, right by New York City, obviously. Rhode Island, these are some of the most densely populated states in the country. Rhode Island has, I think, 1.1 million people, so they have a couple 100,000 more than South Dakota, yet you could fit probably 10 Rhode Islands in South Dakota. So, You start seeing all these names like Louisiana, North Dakota, Arizona. Makes sense. They have Phoenix. I get that. I'm not the one saying that they're not having a problem. They are. They're lying. Pennsylvania, again, they're not saying they are, so I'm not going to rash on them. But Arkansas, Alabama, New Mexico has been kind of waffling a little bit. But like Michigan, Iowa, right? These are places that are saying they're not having a problem. Indiana, Tennessee, South Carolina. Look at all these names. This is the water line here. This is the average, right? Kansas is about Kansas. There's nobody in Kansas, and they're having this kind of a problem. 130 people per 100,000. This is capita, right here. Death rate by state per capita, right there. And you get down here, and sure, you start seeing here's Colorado, our state, and a lot of these other ones. Again, they're down here, but some of these red Oklahoma. Some of the reddest of the reddest states are saying they're not having a problem. They're lying.
Don't forget
So
to
we want to get into the
subscribe.
women VP because it's something we've been wanting to talk about for the last few weeks. So why do you think it's taken so long to have a woman VP?
I think it's a lot of old white guys that have stopped that.
That's factual.
I hate to be like.
Men in general. I think
Yeah.
even brown and black.
I
yes.
think well.
Women have stopped their own women from becoming president.
Well,
or becoming
you
vice
made a
VP.
great point too, because you had mentioned that women could be haters against each other, right? And a lot of those things that came up during what was it, Hillary Clinton's campaign run.
Yeah.
It just kind of put a big bright light on how much women hate each other. I don't know. And again, it's like there's been such a establishment and an institution in our politics that no man was ever going to get behind and be a VP for a woman. You know what I mean? They're trying. They've been in politics forever, right? So they want to be the president.
Yeah.
They don't want to help.
Look at the Republican Party. Just take a look at like who's in Congress and Senate for them. It is predominantly white men. It's very obvious who's running those parties. Mm-hmm. And again, and same with like you said with women VP. Why to me? So I'll take kind of I agree with you. That's really the simple answer because it's really the truth. But for example, some funny stuff with it in a sense, and I don't think it's funny that this is how women see each other or that people are doing this. But Jordan Klepper went down to Trump rallies left and right, and anyway, and one of the guys has a shirt, fairly famous video now if you just go look up Trump's, Jordan Klepper Trump supporters, but he's wearing a shirt that says Trump that bitch, mm-hmm. and it says or on the front it says Hillary sucks because Monica, or Hillary blows because Monica sucks or something like that. And then it says Trump that bitch on the back. Standing right next to his daughter, mm-hmm. he's sitting there talking about how, we treat women with a level of dignity and respect in this country. Yeah. He's got a shirt that says Trump that bitch on it.
Yeah, it just became like that conversation came up with another person that I was talking to, and how you can throw around the C word, and I took offense to that because I have a daughter, right? Yeah. I have a daughter, and I guess I was being too emotional about it, but it kind of hit home because I can't ever see someone disrespecting my daughter like that, and I'm growing, and I am raising my son to be better than that, and not to have words like that in his vocabulary. But I think
it's a fun word, if you're doing it like the Australia, the English are really good at using it, in a sense where you're saying...
Well, it's just not in my vocabulary.
Yeah, but I'm saying, they use it as a sense of, where they're calling a guy, they'll call each other guys it, Yeah, you cool.
I see
so it's
I see what you're saying.
But, and that's why I think, words have such a meaning, to... in some fashions, and in other fashions, people take them way too seriously.
Yeah, I think that we degrade our women way too much, and we don't give them enough respect. Yeah. And let's say I've worked for so many women, so many powerful women that are 30,000 times more smarter than I am, right? It is what it is, and I think that men get threatened by that.
Yeah,
but I work for, and I'll say this real quick. I work for a really, really strong, independent woman right now. Yeah. And I rock with her. She motivates me. She gets me going. And she checks on me. She has that motherly side of her too, as well. And I think that's what we might need.
Yeah, and so
honest
Jordan
with you.
Klepper, one of the women, and actually several women there were talking about how, women should never be a president, this, and that, because they're just railing against Hillary because, again, they're being partisan.
Yeah, they gotta
instead of,
let that go.
Yeah, and so one of the women, like, she literally says, we're too hormonal and we're going to start wars. And Jordan Klepper literally looks at her and goes, hasn't every war been started by men? By men?
Yeah.
And she sits there and she's like, well, and it's just like, too much coming in your mouth kind of talk. Anyway, sorry, that was like my little, I'm just like, I sit there and want to go like, if you are going to degrade your own, then I'm going to degrade, like, I'm going to make fun of how silly you just sounded. Mm-hmm. And you cannot like the way, like, again, I'm just trying to have fun, but like, that's so ridiculous that you, like, a simple question of, haven't all men been the ones who started wars?
But
and she was, she just was dead. And it was just kind of like, that's it? That's as far as you thought? That's why I tell people, you guys are not sitting down and thinking past your bullshit statements more than one question. If one question can make you be that speechless, you have not thought about what you're saying.
Everything they've heard too.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know what I mean?
You get
it's
a meme in your head and you repeat
you
it.
run with it.
Instead of researching,
that's the thing that I
finding out the
hate
truth.
though, because you see a lot of the things on Facebook, right? And I have friends I have a friend that will just share something in our group chat, and then my boys are like, "Oh, that's messed up." Oh, and I'm like, "Did you guys click on the actual thingy?" And like when you read it, it's just like total BS.
Yeah.
And they're like all up in arms because they just saw the the thumbnail.
Yeah.
On it, you know what I mean?
So, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this!" And it's like, dude, like, because that's kind of what went around with Biden was there was a thumbnail of it saying Biden cancels doctor, and it was like he did nothing. All he chose was based upon the evidence that he's now seen that he's not going to have it in his read, which Obama did, Michelle Obama did, right? That's fine. Guess what? Y'all say you're the right, claims you're the party of freedom of speech.
How many things did Trump cancel?
Like, y'all say you're the party of freedom. You know what? If you win another election as a Republican Party, and your next president is whatever they want to read, guess what they get to do? They get to read whatever book they want to.
Yeah.
Like, to the kids. I mean, within a reason. I mean, hell, actually, I don't care. Read whatever book you want to read. You want to read something crazy to these kids? I guarantee you're probably going to get backslapped for it. But, like, at the same token, y'all talk about you're the party of free. We're the party of free speech. We're the party of freedom. Pro-life would be the opposite of freedom. You're trying to control somebody's body. Trying to say that, like, you think that Biden saying his choice to not read Dr. Seuss books, because of what he saw that they have done.
Yeah.
That's his choice. Freedom of choice.
Freedom of choice.
Isn't that amazing how that works? And so this is the kind of things we want to bring to you guys.
But actually, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, we need. You know what? It might take a woman.
Probably.
To turn this around. And it might take a strong, independent black woman.
Yeah, somebody that's, I'm happy for Kamala because I think kind of like Obama, like that barrier's been broken. But they're both very similar. They're kind of very like pandering to the center. Yeah. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the center. And I need to be careful how I'm saying this because I consider myself a true centrist. Mm-hmm. They pander to the corporatist, and I need to make sure I'm being abundantly clear about these are corporatists. I actually
don't want her to run for president because obviously she's
a
qualified.
Corporatist.
I feel like she's qualified for the job. Not only that, I just think that she's just going to. Nina Turner would be hateful.
Nina Turner would be like an AOC, and I don't care if people don't like AOC or not, dude. Like they can say what they say about her.
That's my girl, man. I'm sorry.
She's doing things.
Sometimes.
They hammer her for being a bartender, but then they say they're the party of blue jeans, beer, and the working class. Said Ted Cruz at the CPAC, and then he flies off to some luxury, resort to Cancun. It sounds really legit. Okay, Here's a girl who's refusing to take money from any like big donors, which is exactly what you want. Republican, Democrat, I don't give a rat's if they're part of the pink polka dot purple party. Like, if they're not willing to take money, I don't care if they say they're Republican and they go, I will not take big donations or any donations from any billionaire, 100 millionaire, etc., etc. My ears perk up. I don't care what it says, R&D, and I go, yep. I'm like, yo, dude, you got you'll get my vote.
Yeah.
You'll get my vote. It could say Republican. You can say you're hardcore Christian. As long as you don't want to infringe your beliefs on other people, I'll vote for you. But that is a huge line for me. You're not taking money from big donors. You're going to likely get my vote. And that's where I think like the Nina Turners and the AOCs, that's where I think that they, that's where I agree with you. I think that those, Nina Turner, dude, extremely educated, extremely well-spoken.
We'll see what
that
happens
girl
in the next 4 years.
She is
Maybe things
lights
will get
out. Dude, Nina Turner is
better.
one of my favorite people out there. Dude, she is, like I said, man, articulate, well-spoken, but she is a force.
Mm-hmm.
She will tell you what, she ain't going to back down. She's not going to be like, well, some advertisers pulled away. Nope. She don't care. She nope. This is who I am.
This is what it is.
This is who I'm coming with. I'm trying to, get everybody equality, everybody health care, everybody a livable wage. This is what she stands for.
Yeah.
And somehow that's some bad thing. 78% of people want the minimum wage raised to $15 an hour. We talked about how I'm not like a full-blown minimum wage person, but 78% on a national poll. And we've got even Joe Biden caving, going, oh, Joe Manchin's not going to vote for it. Put his ass to a vote and see if he won't vote for it. Because I guarantee you West Virginians are going to be like, you didn't vote for us.
$15
Bro,
an
he
hour.
won't get reelected again.
Yeah.
So, anyway, man, we'll talk about some more next week, guys. Ladies and gents, Kenny, like I said, tell them real briefly where they can find us once again, and his beautiful little kids are going to tell you too.
Yes, absolutely. So follow us on Twitter at UFidiots and on Instagram at Unfiltered_idiots IG.
Boom.
And you can email me at knowell@unfilteredidiots.com and Metro at unfilteredidiots.com.
Very good. And you can also find us where all podcasts are found, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, as well as go find us on YouTube. And please, man, support us. Also, there's some gear out there. You can go buy some of our swag. My cousin Corey Ohm said thank you, Corey.
So we're going to fix that link on...
It's fixed. It's fixed.
You fixed it?
Yeah, it's
okay,
fixed.
Great.
Because it was him that took it down, technically, for a second.
No, I'm talking about on Instagram.
Yeah, it's all fixed. Because the link was linking to his page, so it wasn't anything I did. The link is all right. But yeah, man, you guys go in there and get shirts. They got coffee mugs, all kinds of stuff. You've got stickers, all kinds of different hoodies. We would love for you guys to support us. And also, man, try to help my cousin. This is what my cousin does. He's an amazing dude. And
Made in America.
And absolutely. It's done at his shop in Portland, Maine. Good dude. Father, all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks, Corey, man. Much love. He's the one that does our logos, all that. So, anyway, man, we'll see you guys in episode number 8 coming next week. We film on Wednesdays. We try to get it out by Friday or Saturday.
It'll be Sunday.
If you don't like our time frames,
you don't like it,
we don't care.
All right, guys. Take
Much
care.
love.
Have a good week.
Subscribe to you Unfiltered Idiots.
Let's start recording. Everything's going. We are live and set. We'll fuck with everybody. We're switching places today.
Okay.
Kenny's always on the right. I want to be on the right.
All right,
I feel like the right is my better side, Kenny. Jesus.
Is that one going? That one's going? Oh, gosh. Here we go.
Jesus Christo, Kenny. I want to be on the right side.
Episode 7 bloopers.
Yeah, that shit was funny as fuck. Why do I always feel like I'm fucking not in the fucking picture, but I guess you're just as much not in the photo. Okay, I think before I was over here more.
You're pretty much in the picture, dude.
No, I know, but on the other one, I was it was clearly, I was if you notice, the camera was I was fuck, I didn't have it the right way. Because like you were clearly like in the more than I was.
All right,
I felt not included.
You want to pull up the agenda?
Agenda? We have agenda? We have fucking agenda in this place? Oh, you're gonna have to bleep out your own F word that time.
Fudge.
Oh yeah. Holy crap!
I didn't bleep out the bloopers, did I?
Oh, I don't think so. I would just like to give you shit. Because people like, see, like, the comeback to that would be like, well, maybe you should not cuss as much. And then I would be like, go fuck yourself. Because that's my way of, like, coming back at something. Hey, go fuck yourselves over here. Listen over here. Oh, don't do this to me.
Hi, it's Women's History Month,
What
so
the
I've been learning
fuck?
some new...
I said do not disturb. You see, that's proof. That's on camera. It's on do not disturb.
Mine did that last time too.
Tripping. Trying to listen to my shit.
Is your camera rolling? Are you sure you don't need no juice going to that GoPro?
No, it's just a battery.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. It lasted. Listen, I got the knockoff GoPro that I personally think is better than GoPros, but the battery, it's amazing. And they didn't change the chargers. They didn't make me have to buy new ones. All right, so yeah, here's the agenda. Yeah, and I want to dive because I fucking noticed my fuck up on my. I don't think it matters, but you'd have what the fuck, goddamn iPhones or iPads, I guess. The funny thing is, I've done that before where I just didn't put the L in there and it says pubic instead of public. And people are like, oh, I like the pubic. And it's like, oh, yes, the pubic. All right, so.
UF idiots.
We're rolling.
Unfiltered _IG.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Yeah, here's all the.
Unfiltered _idiots IG. All right.
Drink of water. Hold on, let me drink it like Trump. Oh, he did the two little.
But Biden can't put two sentences together.
Yeah. Yep. No.
Trump.
Yeah. Biden can't put together two sentences. Trump's sentences are fucking lunatics. So like, would you rather have the grandfather who's like. Literally
this is the after show.
We're about to but
no.
Yeah, it's like would you rather have the grandfather that's like you can just kind of like okay grandpa or the grandfather's like in there sharpening fucking knives and shit about to go kill people. You're like okay well one of them we can just not pay attention to. The other one we're like
everybody knows that grandpa that's ready to go kill someone.
Yeah.
Too,
I swear to God. You're like okay grandpa.
I swear to God.
It's Nom. I'm like oh God.
Oh
grandpa.
God. Here we go. Nom's coming up. God damn. Okay, let's go. You ready?
Damn Korea.
You ready for this?
All right. Oh yeah, nice. Okay.
Okay.
And here we go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? Good stuff, dude.
Good
I
stuff.
thought it was
man.
good. I felt like we've been wanting to get the women VP thing, and it's funny because I knew it wasn't going to be like a big long discussion about it, but it was just kind of like let's just put it out there and show people like this is, the facts are that we have, it's pretty obvious why, but like let's get it out there so people understand that like we are trying to bring that up, but yeah, dude. Oh, good old Anka. All right, my puppies are losing their mind upstairs. Because he can hear me. Shady loves me so much. He's like, Dad.
I'm like, shut the
I want to be on a podcast, Dad. I want to be famous. I want to have as many followers as the Kardashians. Listen, in order to do that, my puppy, you gotta be at the back. Bananas. Banana sandwich over here. Why are you so hype, bro? Oh, hell no. Get your butts inside, you little crazies. I knew you wanted to go out there and bark. She was like, yeah, I know it. Hey, you're dropping the heater,
Look me up on Google, search the classics, you crazy bass. Hold me up and pull me down. It's a battle royale in the eye of the storm. Drowning in the shallows when the path is getting narrow. I'ma ride it out on this broken arrow. Fuck it. Hold me up.